I'm out here with Locario,
What up? What up?
the bad boy, the dating game. Was good, bro?
Chilling. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
I'm alright, chilling. So this show, is gonna be about dating and about like social interactions, females, stuff like that. So we're gonna ask Locario, how his experience has been with females and what he can teach men out here, right, in order to be successful, right, when it comes to mating and stuff like that, of course.
All right. So what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me here. You know what I'm saying?
So love, bro. I've been hearing you for years.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, years. So this guy has insight.
Oh yeah, man. I just, for those who don't know, my name is Mr.Locario. They call me the bad boy of the dating game. I've been coaching men and women for, almost 2 decades now to teach men and women to get exactly what they want out the dating game. So yeah, that's what it is. So it's good.
Exactly. So as a dating coach, right, what would you say is the psychology of a female and the psychology of being able to, get a woman to cooperate with you and to be, your wife, or your girl, to hold you down, be loyal?
Yeah, I think the thing that guys have to understand is that in order for you to really get what you want, right, you have to be the type of man who loves himself and be able to interact with women and find women who love you just as much as you love yourself, right? And so what happens nowadays is you have a lot of women out here who they'll deal with guys they settle for, and the guys are okay with that because they're thirsty for women, and then the women are thirsty for a relationship. But then that really messes things up because the woman's not getting what she wants because she's not dealing with a guy she really likes, and he's not really getting what he wants because he's dealing with a woman who's settling for him. So I always teach guys, listen, you have to love yourself and have high self-esteem so that when you interact with women, then you're able to attract a woman who sees you as awesome as you see yourself. The problem is most guys don't see themselves as awesome, so then they chase women, they try to lead with their wallet, they do all these things, and then that causes them to attract women who aren't really into them, and everything just messes up from there. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell guys, listen, if you step up your game and understand the game, then you'll make things happen better for yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. Would you say this about yourself? I view you as like a modern day Solomon. I don't know if you know who that was.
Right.
You're laughing, so you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Would you say that there's like some type of comparison there?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say to that extent. I would just say, the thing is, I figured out myself and what I want and who I'm about. And then so because I understand who I am and what I want, then I just am able to attract not only, just the women that I want, but also not only just one woman, but like multiple women if I want that. You see what I'm saying? So it's really just understanding yourself and having self-awareness, knowing what you want and be able to make that happen. You understand? The problem with today's guys out here is a lot of men, they know what they want, but they don't want to put in the work to get what they want. So they just want what they want to happen. And I always tell guys, listen, whatever you want, right? There's a price to pay. There's a cost. And the cost is that I have to be the type of guy that deserves what I want. So if you want beautiful women, if you want a lot of beautiful women, what does that guy look like? How does he look? How does he dress? How does he act? How does he think? All these things to be able to get that thing, because the woman also wants to experience something beneficial. So are you beneficial to her? If you are, then you're going to attract those women. If you're not, it's going to be hard for you to attract those women. You see what I'm saying? That's just how it works.
And I have noticed that, from my experience, social class can interfere with that. Not necessarily, but like you said, it's also bad, like, to lead with your wallet, right?
Right.
So, of course, I'm not excusing that and saying that that's the reason why you can't get females, because, of course, you can talk to the ones that will see past that, of course. And those are the ones that you are looking for when you're in a position like that, right? If you're not rich.
Yeah, the thing is you want a woman who's going to want you for you. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. If you meet a lot of guys out there have money. You see what I'm saying? A lot of guys out there, that's not going to be the thing that differentiates you from another guy. It's like somebody might have more money than you, somebody might have less money than you. But either way, money isn't the thing that makes the woman gravitate to you and be attracted to you. You see what I'm saying? Or to get attached to you. So what it is that when a woman really likes you, she likes you even if you have no money. Like if you have $0 in the bank, you understand? She likes you. So If she doesn't like you, then she's going to say, okay, what else is it about this guy that is useful? Okay, he has money. So then she'll make money the big thing. So whenever a woman makes money the biggest thing or the most important thing when it comes to dealing with you, that means that she doesn't really like you. If she really likes you, then money becomes a less important thing. Now, if you have a long-term relationship, you're in a marriage, you have kids, then money is going to need to be used for practical things. But at the same time, a woman doesn't really want to be with you for your money. That's why women could get with bums and guys who don't have anything and be just obsessed with those guys. And then you have the rich guy over here, the guy with a lot of money, and she'll deal with him, but she's always cheating on him with the bum. You see what I'm saying? So it's not really just about the money. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, we have seen, right, a lot of these guys with high social status that are extremely famous usually get, like, into a divorce and stuff like that, and he's a billionaire.
Right.
So if it was all about the finances, I guess that wouldn't happen, right?
Yeah, or you see that these guys, they get taken for their money, the women don't respect them, you know what I'm saying? I forgot that dude, the football, Travis Hunter, I think, his girl was always disrespecting him. All these things happen, and it's happening to guys who have money, right? So it's not about the money, because if it was about the money, all your problems would be solved. Just let me get more money and then women will want me. But that's not how real life works. So the thing is, women nowadays make their own money, so they don't actually need the guys for money. And this is why a lot of guys have trouble attracting women, because the guys are still like, hey, look at me, I have money, come and be with me. And the woman's like, well, I got my own money, why would I need you? So now the woman is like, okay, I want to be with a guy I'm actually attracted to. I want to be with a guy I actually like, because I don't need him for money. So I actually want him for other things, which is I want to be with, hang out with, have sex with, and deal with a guy who I really, really like. You see what I'm saying? And so if a guy is attractive in that way, that's what he's going to be able to attract a lot of women. You see what I'm saying?
But, you know, with that logic, of course that's true, right? You wouldn't say that it was easier to get females back then, because in the old age, they couldn't study, they couldn't drive, and you had to be the main provider.
Right.
Nowadays, it's like there's like so much that they can do that it's like we got to have more game than what we had in the 1400s,
right?
Or now.
well, that's the thing. It's actually better now, because now, see, the thing is, you don't want a woman who needs you, you want a woman who wants you.
True.
You see what I'm saying? And so that happened, like back in the day, some women would need him because he had money. But the thing is now, if a woman actually wants you, that's better, because now all you have to do is be you. All you have to do is be authentic, be honest, be who you really are. It's not about what you acquire, because no matter how much money you make, at some point, you know, you could be making less or more, or something can happen, you lose your job or your business goes down. So now you don't want it to be a situation where, man, you know, like I have, you know, I actually like this woman and I'm thinking I'm gonna lose her just because of my money. So that's the thing where I want guys to understand. It's like, yes, make as much money as you want, do that for yourself. You know, like if you love making money, that's cool, but do it for yourself. The thing is that you don't want to ever be doing it for women or to try to attract women, because then all you're going to do is you're going to attract women who don't like you, and they put the money in front of you because you're putting the money in front of you. So all they're doing is following suit and following your lead. And your lead is, you say to the lady, hey, forget who I am, just look at this money, and this is why you should be here. So then she's like, okay, cool. Well, this is why I'm gonna be here. So when you lose the money, I'm going to leave, or I'll be with you, but I'll cheat on you with a guy that I really like. So be the guy she really likes. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you know, it ain't, you know, a lot that you could find out here, like somebody who really from the core is with you, you know, not just an attraction, but like she's really feeling you, like her heart is yours. That's not something that you can really buy. I think it becomes like a natural attraction, right? Because of events or whatever it is, you guys were able to connect, right?
Right, and this is why I always talk about vetting women. Like people, you know, some people who don't really have never heard of my material, I always say that a man should, you know, date a woman essentially between, you know, 12 to 18 months. That means a year or a year and a half before he actually makes it a serious girlfriend situation. Now, a lot of people think I'm crazy when I say that, but this is the thing. This is how you know when a woman really likes you. A woman really likes you when she can be with you consistently without you giving her the world yet, without you giving her so much. So what you want to do is you want to do the least first, and then as time goes on, you put in a little more and more and more, right? What a lot of guys do is they put in a lot at the beginning, and then they just give a woman all these things, and then what'll happen is that you have a woman who feels entitled to more than that, right? So what you want to do is you want to present who you are and not what you can do for her, not the money you can bring. Present who you are so that if she's going on dates with you or hanging out with you or wanting to see you or hooking up with you or whatever, she's doing that based on the fact she likes who you are, meaning that she's like, I don't need anything outside of you to want to be here. And then so if she's showing that consistently, then that's the type of woman that makes sense for that to be your girlfriend or wife or so forth and so on, because she's showing and proving over time that she don't need your money to be with you. She don't need for you to have the fancy stuff. She don't need any of those things. She just likes your dirty drawers. You understand what I'm saying? That's the type of woman that is best suited to be your girlfriend or somebody serious in your life. Because if things get hard or if things go crazy, you want to be able to have someone who's there that's solid. But a lot of guys, what happens is that they overcompensate because they don't think they're enough in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? So you want to be able to have a situation where you are enough for that woman and it's shown through her response and reaction to you over time. So the thing is that you're not making it a longer term or committed situation just because you're just not trying to do it. It's important to vet and to have a woman show and prove that she wants to be in that position of girlfriend. You see what I'm saying?
I took that advice from your shows online years ago, and it has served me good. When I went against it, I paid a price for it, of course.
Right.
And, Locario's saying the truth. Like, I've gone through it, and I understand, like, some of you guys could feel bad. You're like, oh, she's crying and she wants to be with me, blah, blah. But a lot of the times, right, I've noticed she's trying to rush you into locking you down because she knows there's something off with her. And by the time you see her, you're like already locked down. She has a child, you're married, and you're like, damn, I should have given myself time to evaluate this female, to vet her, like you said. And today would be a different story, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to do that because remember, this is your life. This is like real life in here. You don't want to make mistakes that you'll regret later. So you don't want to, just rush into a situation based on your emotion. This is why having game is important, because when you have game, what it does is that it teaches you to not let your emotion take the wheel. You understand? So even if you're feeling this way, you be like, oh man, this girl's so awesome. I want to make her my girl now. It's like, yeah, I get that you like her, but give it some time so that who she really is and what she's really about actually is going to be shown. And also vetting is for you too as a man. You want to make sure that you're able to, not just jump on something based on your emotion, because your emotion is like, oh, I want her so bad. But it's not time yet, because if you're in that I want her so bad, then guess what happens? Now let me take the condom off and do this raw. Or some guys will do it raw right there and then end up she's pregnant. Now you have a woman who's pregnant that doesn't listen to you, doesn't care about you, and now you're in a situation where you're stuck with this woman that you shouldn't have had a baby with. You see what I'm saying? And that's because a lot of guys, they'll lead with the emotion of, oh, I feel this feels good to just do it without a condom, right? But you got to override that by saying, even though I know it would feel good, I have to think in the future and say, is this the right situation to do this in? And in most cases, it's not. So take your time with the situation. And when I say take your time, I'm not saying you can't have sex, have sex and have fun, but do it responsibly so that you're not getting yourself in these situations, and also be responsible about the commitments you make so that you're actually a better suited man to be in a relationship. So it's not just about the woman. 'Cause I always hear guys, oh, these girls ain't wifey material. Cool, but are you husband material? Are you boyfriend material? You have to also vet yourself to see if you're able to be consistent just like you want her to be consistent. You see what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah, it's hypocrisy for us to desire a reflection that we're not reflecting as well, right? So as a man, you have to be a real man, like you said, like of your word, of the truth, and it's better to be honest, right, than to be like how you said, no lies, no manipulation, how some of these players got these tactics, right? And they're doing it in a dishonest way, therefore they could lose it in that same way as well, It's like karma.
Yeah, and it's, the thing is, a lot of times the reason why guys will be manipulative or be dishonest is mainly because of fear. So meaning that they are scared that that women in general won't like them for who they are, right? So that's where the manipulation comes in, because what happens is this: you have a choice to be who you are or be who you think they want you to be. And most people, men and women, but we're talking about men here, is that men try to be who they think the woman wants them to be. And so they say, well, let me be this or act this way or do this so that I can acquire her. But the reason why they want to acquire her is because they think they can't attract her unless they're pretending to be this guy they're not, which is also saying who I actually am isn't attractive and isn't lovable and isn't interesting. And this is why I tell guys that it's very important to love yourself, so that when you're interacting with women, you can recognize women who love you and appreciate you just like you appreciate yourself. So the manipulation comes from a place of fear and insecurity. And so what happens is, even if they, quote unquote, get the girl, they're only getting her based on the manipulation, and then the real them is gonna come out at some point. And then when she sees who they really are, right? It's not that she's gonna not like who they really are. It's just that she's gonna realize she's been manipulated. She's gonna realize this guy isn't who he said he was. And so that's the part that messes things up. It's like you're doing the bait and switch. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, this is why I was saying earlier about vetting. It's just like you meet a woman, she'll act like or be this way, and she's manipulating you, and then all of a sudden, it flips and you're like, who is this woman I'm talking to? Because you didn't realize who she really was until now. So whenever anybody's manipulating, it usually never works out, because the real them has to come out at some point. You see what I'm saying?
And I've seen that, in my own experience, where like she made me think she was a woman of God, and she was actually doing Satan's work, which is the complete opposite, but and at the same time, I stay, on top of your view in life as far as being an honest person, because I feel like it's just, what it is, it's easier to live life knowing that you don't have to be exactly like her, but that there's like a compatible state between you. I'm a believer in God, so I've had to leave a woman because she didn't really understand that. And it's not that she didn't understand that, but she didn't not want to submit, but she didn't want to respect it. If you respect it, you at least treat me with respect,
right?
Knowing that I came from God and I'm a human being and stuff like that, as I have done to her. So I agree with that 100%, man. You got to be about your program, and if she's not, cooperating with that program, then you're doing her a positive service by telling her, hey, this is not going to work, so go with somebody that they'll be able to work with, Right. Also, what I was going to talk about is the fact that you made a comment in the past, which is true. I've seen it for myself. Simps are dangerous. Or from my own experience,
Right.
I had this dude that I was cool with from years ago. He moved to another state, and he ended up with this chick that he didn't vet. She had his kids. And so I'm telling you, she kept violating him. She kept calling the cops on him, then going to court to stop the charges. She did it like 4 or 5 times. The last time I just stopped talking to her, I'm like, yo, like I'm done. But I was around there at that state. So, it just ended up into a big stupid thing. She tried to call the cops on him again, and then that was the last straw, because she tried to put it on me when I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
So at the end, this guy practically, because he was such a simp off of his bad choices, over his lack of vetting, over the low self-esteem that he had to not be able to man up and say, hey, I deserve more than this. It almost seems like he was deserving of that because he was at that frequency.
Right.
So, the friendship that I had with him, it came to an end because he was a simp, and that was a danger. It reflected on his choices and on the fact that he even said that he wanted to pop me or whatever.
Oh, damn.
So I'm like, this is what, and then I remembered you. I'm like, this is why Locario and Miles say that it's so dangerous to be a simp.
Oh yeah, well the thing is, people got to understand, for those who don't know what simp is, a simp basically, because you have all these definitions on the internet now, a simp basically is a guy who puts women above him, and so his actions and everything that he does around women is just to acquire them and to get them, and he sacrifices who he is, meaning he's like, well, he disregards himself to try to get sex. He does whatever he thinks the woman wants him to do in order to get her, or to make the woman like him, or whatever it is like that. So the reason why simping is dangerous is because it's the mentality of a guy who operates that way. So what that means is that he disrespects himself and he doesn't realize he's disrespecting himself, but he is. He disrespects himself to try to get things from women. And so what'll happen is some women, right, they'll like the fact that he's doing this at first, because he'll just do stuff like, you know, what society says, I'll buy her flowers and I'll roll out the red carpet and I'll be very romantic. And again, if a guy is really like that, that's fine, that's cool. But most guys are not like that. They're just doing that because they think this is what she wants, right? So he's doing what he thinks she wants. That's simping. Instead of him being himself and doing what he wants to do and bringing her along for the ride in his world, right? And so the reason why this is dangerous is because what will happen is that women will go along with this, and then because he's so insecure, that insecurity seeps its way through the relationship, and this is what causes drama and turmoil and all this other type of stuff. So once that woman realizes that this guy's not a real man, and he's just doing things based on how she wants to do things, then she wants to fall back from him. But then this is the part where it gets crazy, because now he's put so much energy, time, attention, and investment in this woman, and he lives for the woman, and so therefore this is why he'll act crazy and do ridiculous things to try to keep her. Like I did the video thing he was talking about, I had an example of, I was at an event, this woman comes in, she was with this guy, and I saw them come in, but the woman starts talking to me, we have a conversation, and I asked her, I said, hey, is that your boyfriend or something? She was like, oh no, we're just friends. So, but the guy obviously was like into her, so, but he was in the friend zone. And then so because he saw me talking to her, he got mad at me or felt jealous or felt this anger towards me. And I had to tell him like, yo, bro, you got to chill. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that serious. But he was ready to essentially fight me over this woman who he likes that doesn't like him like that. And then therefore, you know, those type of situations can occur, and it could cause a lot of like, problems. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I tell guys, again, they have to love themselves. If you love yourself, you're not going to put women above you, and you're going to do your thing the way that you want to do it, and you'll attract the right women to you, and you don't have to worry about trying to bend over backwards or do things for women, and you can just do things for yourself and find the women who are attracted to you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that happened to me a few days ago. He was like attempting like to hover on top of the situation. He didn't even say anything. He was just standing right there, and I was just like, what's up? And he's like, all right. And you know me, I'm far from simpish. I'm just like, yeah, emotional control. This guy has issues. I was just like, yeah, I'll see you around, and I left. But there's a reality to that. I think that, also when you're approaching females, you got to be aware that the fact that there's guys that think like that, and he'll just ruin his day or his life for that. Stupid. But what I was gonna also ask you is, right? We agree with, as far as like female, right, and their nature is universal, right? It applies throughout the whole world, right? But I do want to see if perhaps you have any feedback on the fact that it still changes in some kind of way, not throughout her female nature, but in certain like countries or parts of the world, it's not the social norm to approach females. If you go to a country that's like, for example, an Islamic State, those females are in hijabs and the burqas, and and it's actually like against their religion to just go out there and say I'm gonna smash and bag. Now her nature might point towards doing that. But how do you respond to something like that, where we realize that, all right, it's universal, but it does change according to your environment, religion, or subculture. And that can even put somebody in danger. Fornication in those parts of the world is illegal. Right.
No, it's interesting that you say that, because I remember there was a story of this woman, I think she was like the Indian woman, I can't remember, but she swam like in the ocean to get to this dude that she really was in love with or whatever. But to answer that question, I think there was a guy on YouTube. I can't remember if his YouTube video's up anymore, but this dude named Mr. Channel, and he said, and I totally agree with this. He says a woman's going to either listen to society or her man. So what happens is that a woman chooses what to submit to. So in certain cultures, yes, there are certain things that go down, But then even if that woman is listening to our culture and society, if she meets a man that she is interested in or attracted to, then what will happen is that she'll end up choosing the man over what society is saying. And so this is how powerful having game is. This is why you'll have younger girls, their dad tell them, hey, you can't leave the house and see that boy, she'll sneak out the window. You know what I'm saying? Because she's so attracted to that guy and wants that guy. So yes, there are times where the society has instilled or ingrained a certain way of living into that woman. But the thing also, at the same time, there are times where women will meet that particular guy that makes her want to be like, okay, this is the guy that I'm going to listen to, even though I've been brought up this way or my religion is this. And you'd be surprised that those things will actually occur. You feel what I'm saying? But that's how powerful the game is, that, most people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. I'm not trying to say too much because, when it comes to dating females from another religion, that could even put her in danger.
Right.
If her religion finds out that she hooked up with me, she's done. So I'm not even going to put it like that. But I've seen it for myself. Yeah, I guess I did have the social skills to do something like that.
Right.
And she comes from a cultural background that's very strict. So normally that wouldn't happen.
Right.
But of course, that's life. So this was another amazing segment of the meaning of life with Locario. If there's anything else you want to say to wrap up this show, bro, you've already spent a lot of knowledge, and I have a lot of respect for you.
Yeah, man. I just want to say appreciate you for having me, man. This show is awesome, man. I'll watch you grinding. You know what I'm saying? So you're doing your thing, and continue success. And yeah, man, I definitely want to come back. At some point, spit some more game. Just let me know. We could get a crack at. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you, man, for also stopping by, and for being, an example out here for men to, procreate, right, and to approach females and take part in this natural dance of life, because it's just, for the average experience, it's something that you cannot avoid.
Right.
You will see, chances out here to interact with females, and you will like one at some point in time, so it's like you just gotta learn it, If not, then I guess your bloodline is just gonna it's gonna come to an end, you know.
Right. Nah, that's real talk.
You do know that, right? Is it true that 40% of men were, able to actually procreate according to history?
Oh yeah. I'm telling you. That's why you got it. That's why you got to step in the game. Them guys had the game, so they was able to carry on the lineage. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
So that's proof that this is easier said than done.
Right. Nah, real talk. Yes, sir.
I got you. But it's easier now, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit. Is because you got more access, you got more things that you can really do, and you just got to push yourself and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what it is.
That could be easier, but I think there's more options now, so that kind of makes it like a little more. She could go on social media. She got like 200,000 likes on Tinder, bro.
That's why you got to be that guy. I'm telling you. That's why you guys got to step in your game. You be that guy. You have as many women as you want out here, man. That's what it is. Cool.
Perfect. Right on time. You said the last word at the last second.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's what it is.
That was dope, man.